Hello everyone, welcome again to your channel. Thanks for the click. I hope you are doing well. So as you can see today, we are going to see a new topic related to applied linguistics in general and to teaching English in particular. So this lesson is going to be very crucial, very important for all those who want to apply for the teaching profession, either in public sector or private sector. So in this lesson, as you can see, we are going to see the differences between novice teacher and experienced teacher, and this is something that you might be asked, especially in the interview or oral exam. If you are, for example, applying for the teaching profession, what is the difference between a novice teacher and experienced teacher? However, you might see or you might find other categories of teachers. So for example, you might find novice, you might find competent teacher, you might find expert, etc. So we have different categories of teachers, but we are going to focus on two very big ones: the novice teachers and experienced teacher. Okay, so the first difference that we are going to discuss today has to do with what we call teaching and learning. Okay, so this is number one, teaching and learning. So the first thing that you have to keep in mind is that novice teacher always pay attention and is more concerned with teaching, how to teach this, how to teach that particular item. However, for an experienced teacher, he is or she is much more concerned with the learning, okay, with the learning of language, how students learn, how people learn, how can learners learn this, okay? So this is what experienced teachers are more concerned with, okay? So they are more concerned with learning, okay, not teaching. So they are much more concerned with the learning process rather than the teaching process, okay? So this is difference number one. Difference number two, and it is also very important, we can relate it to what we call errors, okay? So dealing with errors differs from novice teachers and experienced teachers. Now, what is the difference in terms of errors? Well, novice teachers always try to spot the errors and correct the errors. That's it. So novice teachers try always to spot the errors, identify the errors in learners' production or learners' performance, and try to correct those errors. This is for novice teachers. Now, what about experienced teachers? Experienced teachers have something else to do, which is to know the source of errors. They try to know the source of errors in order to solve the problem. So this is for experienced teachers. They are more concerned with the sources of errors, not the errors themselves or the correction of errors. That for novice teachers. Number three, and this is also very important, we can relate it to what we call planning. Okay? Planning. All right. So teachers, actually, novice teachers spend a lot of time in planning lessons or planning single lessons, I should say. And more than that, they try to focus on short-term planning. So, and also in their planning, they try to include details of the lesson, and they try to stick to their planning when they are teaching. They stick to the lesson plan while they are teaching, okay? So this is for novice teachers. Now, what about experienced teachers? Experienced teachers is something else. They plan for a long term, and also when they plan for a certain lesson in a way or another, they don't stick to that particular lesson plan, okay? All right, another difference we can relate it to classroom management, okay? Classroom management. So what is the difference between novice teacher and experienced teacher? In terms of classroom management, is very easy that novice teachers most of the time have problem with managing classrooms, okay? Because classroom management is much more related to experience. Experienced teachers are most of the time more competent in classroom management than novice teachers, okay? So this is what matters here, is that experienced teachers are much more competent in classroom management than novice teachers. So novice teachers lack some experiences, some kind of maybe ideas that we learn by experience, because classroom management is something 100% related to experience. Okay, so experienced teachers are much more competent in classroom management. The last idea that I'd like to tell you is related to what we call user versus, we can say, producer. Now, using and producing what? Very simply, the teaching materials. So novice teacher is just a consumer, is just a user of someone else teaching product and teaching materials. However, when we talk about experienced teacher, is someone who is knowledgeable enough, is competent enough to produce his own materials. More than that, when we talk about novice teacher is most of the time sticks to the textbook, but experienced teacher can go beyond the textbook and can produce and uses his what we call personal teaching materials. Okay, so these are the very common differences between novice teacher and experienced teacher. I hope you find this lesson very beneficial for you. If you have any question or suggestion, never ever hesitate to ask. See you in another lesson with another episode. Have a good time and goodbye.